is Brittany. So today I'm going to do a tag video, and today it's what scares you tag. And I have some questions here, and I'm not sure if any of you have done a tag video like this before, but in case you haven't, then feel free to do this tag video. So here are the questions that I have here. 1. Do you have any phobias? If so, what are they and why? Okay, yes. Yes, I have phobias. I have arachnophobia, fear of spiders. I have a fear of sharks, clowns, and the dark. Now, I know the dark may sound a bit strange or kind of funny to you, and believe me, I know not everyone's afraid of the dark, but for those who are, I'm like them. And why? Well, I think I've always knew I was afraid of clowns when I was little, even by seeing like old paintings of it. But I think what made it worse for me is when I saw the 1990 movie version of It, because Tim Curry played Pennywise so well that he really scared me. He really scared me to the point where I'm like, okay, I know for a fact I'm definitely have a fear of clowns. And with sharks, that started when I was little, and it didn't start by Jaws though. It actually started when I saw this, because my older sister had National Geographic magazines, and there was one in particular that was about sharks, and the front cover of the picture of the magazine was a great white shark with his mouth open like this, and you can see the water that's going into the mouth of the great white shark. And you can also see like not only the front of his jaw open, but you also see this side as well, because you see the big black eye. And I still remember it clearly, like how it looked, and seeing that really scared me, because to me there was just something about sharks and the way they looked, especially with their mouths open. To me it was just so scary that I couldn't even look at it. So that's how and why. And with the dark, that started when I was little too, because I remember that there was this one room in the house that was always dark, and it would just be so dark in there where I couldn't see anything in there, and to me it kind of felt like something was there looking at me, and I can't see it. So that's what scares me about the dark though. Like, it's just pitch black and you can't see anything, and somehow if you get that feeling like somehow something's there and it's looking at you and it knows what you're scared of, and somehow it may present itself to you in a way of either for you to see or hear something that scares you. And that's what scares me about the dark. Like, something is lurking there, like, ugh. That's what scares me about it. So that's why. And of course, not able to see a thing and no one to be there to comfort me, then yeah, that's scary too. And with spiders, I remember there was this book that had a list of different animals and insects, but also showed different kinds of spiders. And when it showed, different kinds of spiders and sizes, to me that was so freaky. I'm like, oh, like, what? No. But I think what made me scare spiders, I think what made it worse, I think what made me scared of spiders more is by watching the 1990 movie Arachnophobia. And which is why I can relate to Jeff Daniels' character, because he's terrified of spiders as well. And with me, I can relate to his character because of that. And I'm like, hey, I know how you feel. I'm with you. Like, you are not alone. I'm scared too. And of course, with his character going through these scary experiences, having to see the spiders and even have to face them at the end, like, oh, that just, oh, that terrifies me. Yeah, the big ones. Yeah, I think that movie traumatized me, especially the ending, because it got so scary and intense. Where it's like, it's kind of like, okay, who's gonna win here? Is Jeff Daniels' character's gonna win, or is this spider gonna take over and kill him? So to me, it was kind of like, him versus the spider, the big scary spider. So it's and I think because it's so like at the ending, because it showed like the big uh black eyes that it had. Believe me, the ending I think really got to me, where it got me so scared, where I felt like frozen, and like where like my hands were like shaking and I'm like feeling breathless. That's how scared I am of spiders, especially the big ones. The big ones, the tarantulas, really get to me. It's like, So those are my fears and why they scare me. Two, have you ever heard a scary sound that can't be explained where it came from? Yes. I remember that I was alone and then I heard a certain noise behind me. And I didn't know where it came from. I'm not sure if it had came from on the left side of where I was or if it had came from the other room. But to me it sounded close and I couldn't tell what the sound was, but it scared me and I jumped and I turned around, nothing and no one was there. So I did not know what it was. So to me that was scary and I couldn't tell what it was though because it happened so fast. 3. Ever had a nightmare that kept you up? Yes. I remember I had this nightmare that I was in this building and I went to the elevator. I'm not sure why I had to go to the elevator, but when I was pressing the button to go up, I felt something big and it jumped on me. And I had this feeling that I knew what it was, but I was hoping that I would be wrong. But it turns out I wasn't wrong. My instincts were right the moment I felt it. And when I looked up, there were tons, and I mean tons of tarantulas that were jumping on me. They were everywhere. On my head, on my arms, my legs, my back, my butt. Yes, even that. But they were everywhere, and I was shaking them off. And not only was I shaking them off in my nightmare, but I was also shaking them off like this in my out in my sleep, and that's how I woke up. I woke up shaking myself off in my sleep, and after that, I did not went back to sleep because that was like the most scariest thing I've ever had. The scariest nightmare I had, and they were everywhere. And but of course, I never had a nightmare like that since then. But that was years ago. But still, that affected me, because of my fear of spiders. So it's like, I don't want to experience like that in real life either. Like, that would be like a living nightmare. 4. Ever read a scary story or creepypasta that scared you? Yes. One creepypasta story I read in particular that scares me, and that still does, and that's Jeff the Killer. And that's because he went from being, not scary to end up being scary because after what happened to him, after that horrible incident, what happened to him in the story, that he became mentally insane. And how even with what happened to his face, that, and it even shows a picture of what Jeff the Killer would look like. But even though that picture is photoshopped, that picture scared me. So I remember when I read it by myself a long time ago, it kept me up. Like the story itself kept me up, and the picture, like the Photoshop picture of Death the Killer, that picture, because it still looks scary, that kept me up, and I did not went to sleep. I stayed up not just all morning, but all day, because I did not want to go to sleep, with that picture in my head. Mm-mm. Ever listened to scary music from a TV show, movie, that's too eerie to listen to? Yes. Now, there is one show in particular that I watched when I was little, but I don't think I probably should have, because it was not only scary, but I think I probably should have waited until I got older. And that was Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. And for those who probably know the show, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it has that creepy, scary theme song to it, and that's what scares me. And believe me, there are some stories that say that's either fact or fiction, and of course there are some scary stories to the show that scare me as well, but it's the music. It's the music of the show that really gets to me, and where it just gets stuck in my head, and the moment it's in there, it just keeps repeating itself, and I'm like, no, please, don't ever play that again. No, please. So yeah, I don't like it because it's scary, and like I said, that music, it really gets to me in that way, and it's like, I don't ever want to hear that music again. Not, no, not ever. Have you ever watched a video, TV show, or a movie that scares you? It could be a character, monster, visual effects. If so, why? Okay, there are many things that I've watched that scare me. There are some movies that I've seen that scare me, whether if it was a character or something that happened that was probably too graphic, too gory, and it really scared me. But I'm just gonna mention this because this is like the only thing I know that I've seen so far that probably scares me the most. But again, this is about the show Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. And if you want to look it up and see it for yourself, I'm just warning you, it's scary. But in case if it doesn't scare you like how it scares me, then okay. But okay, so in the show, I think it's at season 3. Yeah, I think it's season 3. I'm trying to think, is it? Or is it? I can't remember. I think it's season 3 or so. I think it's season 5. Is it? I don't know, but I think it's either season 3 or season 5 of one of the last episodes of that season of that show. And there's this story. Like, there's probably a 5-minute story that shows about this woman. Like, she goes in to to get her makeup done. Ow. Yeah, she goes in to get her makeup done, but she complains about it after this lady puts the makeup on her. And so when she complains about it, uh, the the lady who works there has enough with her, and so she like put a curse on her. But then here's the scary part. When this woman, when she gets home, she sees that there's something wrong with her face. But she sees it only in the reflection. And so she's tried everything, with her face. She's tried everything like creams and all that. And nothing has worked for her. But when she saw this doctor, I'm not sure who he was. He was some kind of doctor. And so when he looked at her, he says, I'm sorry, but there's nothing that we can do. And she picks up a mirror, and you can see how in the reflection of the mirror, when she looks into it, you can see how her face looks deformed. But to be honest though, it looks deformed in a way where it actually looks scary. It does. It looks scary. And I remember when me and my sister saw that, we both screamed. And we both got scared because it was that bad to us. And it was so scary that we couldn't even look at it, and we looked away. But the thing is, when she drops the mirror and when she turns around, you can see that there's nothing wrong with her face, but she only looks like that in the reflection of the mirror. But yeah, so even that story, I should say that story in particular, and of what she looked like in the mirror, the reflection, I think even that traumatized me as well. And believe me, I will never ever watch that episode again. Not just that, but I will never ever want to even look at that again. Not even if it's like under Google Images. Like, no, because that will keep me up at night and I will have a hard time sleeping. So that's pretty much for this tag video. I hope you enjoyed this tag video, and so yeah, if you want to do this tag video yourself, go ahead and, consider yourself tagged, and this will be uploaded on Valentine's Day. Eek. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this tag video, and comment down below on what you think and what scares you, or if you don't want to mention that, I could wait until the video. So yes, so that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.